Hello, hi everyone. I'm Sanjay Gupta and I welcome you on Skill Horizon official YouTube channel. So, this is day 11 and this week on Monday I was not able to have the live stream. So, I'm available here today. So, I will be implementing one more scenario today and will let you know like what it is all about. So, before I move forward, just wanted to share like what exactly we are trying to do. So every Monday and Wednesday I'm having this live session, and in this live session I just come live and implementing one Salesforce scenario in front of you, and I request if you can implement along with me, so that will be helpful for you. So this is everything about the series. So we are picking real world scenarios, and in the last session I started implementing trigger scenario. So today also we'll be working on the test class. Okay, the scenario that we implemented in the last session, day 10. So in day 11 I will be implementing its test class. Okay, I will show you. So we are Skill Horizon and we are Salesforce Trailblazer Workforce Partner. So if you want to learn Salesforce, you want to become job ready, so you can visit our website. We are running both online and offline job readiness training programs. So in our training, we apply these three steps of learning approach. So we focus on the concepts, we focus on the hands-on exercises, and we ask people to implement some projects as well. So these are the three steps of learning approach that we apply. And these are the Instagram and Telegram QR code. If you want to follow us, you can scan and you can follow. Now today, this is the challenge that we are going to implement. So whenever we implement any trigger or trigger handler, so we will be implementing a class actually. If we talk about trigger handler, so that is a class. And if you have implemented any trigger handler, so it is recommended to write its test class also. So in today's hands-on challenge, what we are going to do, we'll be implementing test class for the scenario that we implemented in the challenge number 10. So this was the challenge number 10 that we implemented. So the requirement was on account creation, we used to, we need to create contact and opportunity. For contact, we didn't have any requirement, like any condition was not there. So whenever you create account, contact should be created. But for opportunity, there was requirement like if active is equals to yes, then only opportunity should be created. So I will let you know how we can implement its test class, because that is important to know. So this is today's challenge that we are going to implement. So I already have opened the code that I implemented in the last challenge. So for this challenge, we are going to implement test class, and I'm sure you will be learning a lot today. Okay, so let's start and implement a test class for this requirement. So as per best practice, okay, as per best practice, what we need to do, we need to create a new class, and that class should be labeled as account trigger handler test. Okay, this is the class name, account trigger handler test, and then we can click on OK. So this will become the test class, and here I am writing @istest in the beginning. So whenever you need to implement test class, you need to write it. Now we will be implementing methods. So for method also, we need to write @istest, because once you write @istest, then only your method will be executed automatically when you execute this test class. Okay, so, and I'm assuming those who implemented challenge number 10, so you will be implementing this test class along with me. Okay, and here I'm writing. So basically, before I write the method, I'm converting this class private. So as per best practice, what you can do, whatever classes you are writing, those are test class, so you can keep them private, because these class methods we won't be calling into another methods and in another classes. So we will be having a button. If we click on that button, so automatically these classes will be executed. So now I'm going to write a method, public static void. So here we are going to test this create con opportunity test. So what I can say, in this method I'm going to test create contact test. So I will be actually implementing two methods. In one method I will check whether contact is getting created or not. In another method I will check whether opportunity is being created or not. Okay, and in today's example I will also let you know the working of @test setup annotation, right? So this test class we'll be implementing in two different ways. So here I'm going to create a list of account. So another best practice of the test class is whenever you are writing test class, you need to make sure you are writing test class for bulk testing. So here I am just creating bulk records. So I'm going to create 5 records here and will be adding them into the list. So this way I am adding this name, like this name I am assigning into the name field, and after that I can add this account into the list. So this is how 5 account instance will be created, and one by one they will be added to this list. Okay, after creation of this data, what we can do, we can just do insert operation. So we can insert this account list, and the moment you perform DML operation, so trigger will be initiated. Okay, with this DML trigger will be initiated, and trigger will be performing this operation that we have implemented here. Okay, now one thing that we need to do, if contact checkbox is checked, then only this contact will be created. So here along with this, what we need to do, just set it as true. Okay, so this is the condition that we need to populate. So in this challenge, you can see we created 2 checkbox fields labeled as contact and opportunity. So if contact checkbox is checked, then contact will be created. If opportunity is checked, then opportunity, and if both are checked, then both type of record should be created. So right now we are doing testing for contact, so I am making it as true. I am inserting the data here. Now after this insert operation, trigger will be initiated and trigger will be creating contact record. So that contact, we just need to check whether contact will be created or not. So here we have 5 records. Okay, we have 5 records, so we need to check whether 5 contacts, like for each account there will be 1 contact. So we need to check whether each account is having contact created or not. So we created 5 accounts, so 5 contacts should be there. So now I'm going to apply a query on contact. So select ID from contact where, so on contact we have a lookup which is known as account ID. So where account ID in ACC list. Okay, so on it will query those contacts where account ID which is populated on that account is available in this ACC list. And whenever we perform DML operation, after that DML operation, the records will be created, like this is insert operation. So after this insert operation, accounts will be inserted and IDs will be generated. So this ACC list will be having the ID. One more thing you need to remember while writing the test class, whenever you implement the test class, so whatever data you are creating, that will not become part of the org. Okay, so the data that you are creating here will remain with the test class. Once your test class execution is finished, so everything will be rolled back. Now to validate the data, we need to write assert equals. So we are checking it with 5, like 5 contacts should be there. Now we can check the size of the list, and here we can say contact is not created. Okay, so this way I'm just checking whether contact is being created or not. right? So I just implemented this class, I just saved it. After saving, if I take you to top right corner, so you will see this run test button. Okay, on top right corner you have this run test button. So if you click on this button, your test class will be executed automatically. Okay, so I'm just clicking on the button. After clicking on the button, you can just open this panel, and here you will see the result of test class. It is working fine. It is having one method, create contact test, and it is working fine. Now after running your test class, what you need to do, you just need to make sure your code is being covered or not. So here what we are going to do, we are going to check the code coverage. So just click on this drop down, and here if you click on all test, so see the contact creation part is covered, opportunity creation part is not covered. Okay, because we wrote the code in the same way, like we are going to test the contact creation. Okay, now one more thing here suggested, like you need to do both positive and negative cases. So this is positive case. If contact is available, like contact checkbox is true, then contact will be created. So we need to check negative case as well. Like if there is no checkbox checked for contact, so I'm creating 5 more records, and here I'm not writing this, I'm just commenting it. Okay, so my 5 records that I'm creating here will be having contact as true, and these 5 will not be having contact as true. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, still if I run this, okay, still if I run this code, so there should be 5 contacts only, because for these 5 accounts contacts will not be created. So I'm going to save it. So we are going to do both positive negative testing here. So now if I click on this run test, so I just need to check whether it passes or not. Yeah, it is passing. This time also it is passing. So it is making sure only 5 contacts are being created, because in these 5 accounts we populated contact as true. So for these 5 accounts contact are being created, and for these remaining 5 records contact is not being created, because active is this contact is not true, right? So through this, I hope you will be able to understand how we can implement a case where we can test our code with the help of Apex class. So half part is covered. Now I'm going to cover this opportunity part. So we can do that in same method, but I would recommend, if you have implemented one method and you want to check its different scenarios, so you can create another method. Okay, so you can create another method. So I'm just copying it and I'm going to paste it. So in the first method we did create contact test. Now here in this method we are going to do opportunity test. Okay, create opportunity test. Now here we need to do some changes. So instead of contact we need to use opportunity __ C, and while using opportunity we need to set active as well. So active should be yes. Why so? Because if you see the scenario, last point, also opportunity record should be created only if the account record active pick list is populated with a yes. Okay, so this is the requirement, that's why we need to do that, right? So I just modified this. Now here it is already commented, so I'm just removing it. Right, so we are creating 5 account where opportunity checkbox is checked, active is yes, and we are creating 5 records again where opportunity is false, opportunity checkbox is false, and active is not having any value. So total 10 account will be created, but only 5 will be having opportunity created. So here also we need to do this testing. So what I'm going to do, this time I need opportunity list. Okay, this time I need opportunity list, and I can rename it as OPP list. So on opportunity also we have a lookup. Its API name is same, account ID. So I'm leaving remaining part same. So this will be the query. We need to query opportunities where account ID is already populated, and that account ID should be available into the account list. and here we need to check OPP list. Its size should be 5. We created 10 accounts, but only 5 opportunities will be created. And here we can say opportunity is not created. Right? So this way I just created one more method. Now I'm going to test it. Okay, so I'm going to test both the methods. So before I execute, I need to open this log, not log, like this panel where tests we can see. So just click on run test. Okay, and you can see this time both the methods are being passed. Right, both the methods are having green tick, so both are being passed. Now what we can do here, we can check the code coverage, and it is 100%. All the lines are covered. Okay, so this way you can implement the test class so that code coverage can be achieved. Now Ariel is having one question like test.start test and test.stop test. So it is not necessary, but for each method of the test class you need to reset the governor limit. So here we can write it. So you can write test.start test and then test.stop test. Right? So this way you can write it here as well. Okay, so this is how you can write these pair, and in one method one pair can be used. So it basically resets your governor limit. So it is not mandatory, but it is part of the best practice. You can have it. Right? So this is how I just implemented these two test methods. I hope you are able to understand. And in test method, whatever code we are writing, that is pure Apex programming. So if you are good in Apex programming, you can write triggers, trigger handler, test class, and in future we'll be learning about asynchronous Apex, integration. So everywhere Apex we need to use. So if you are associated with the Salesforce ecosystem or you are searching for the job, you should be good enough in Apex programming. Okay. Now in the beginning, as I told you, I will be implementing this test class in two different ways. So now I'm going to implement another approach. So creating one more test class. So here I'm going to use so name is account trigger handler test underscore test setup. So in this I'm going to create a method which will be having annotation @test setup. Okay, and this @test setup annotation we use so that we can create a method, and in that method commonly we can create the data. So this also we can create as private. So private static void setup. So here we'll be creating the data. So what I'm going to do, I'm copying these methods as is. Okay, I'm copying all these methods and I'm going to paste them after this so that I can show you how multiple data creation we can avoid. So I'm going to have, I'm cutting this code and pasting it here. Okay, so in this test setup, I'm going to create the data. First we created list, then 5 records I'm creating where contact is true, 5 records where contact is not true. I'm just removing this. Okay, now with this only I'm going to have opportunity. Okay, I'm setting it as true, then acc.active equals to yes. So for these 5 records, okay, for these 5 records, one contact and one opportunity will be created, and for these 5 nothing will be there, like account will be created but contact opportunity will not be created. Okay, so this is how we can create data commonly in the @test setup method. And here we can just apply the query. So we can simply query like this. We can remove this where clause. Okay, I'm just removing the where clause. And if I write this query only, like we are querying context and no where clause. So since we created 10 accounts and for 5 accounts only 5 contacts will be created, so it will just query 5 contacts. So as I already discussed, whenever we are implementing any test class, so test class will not be inserting any data into the org, and here in this case it is not querying the data from the org, it is querying the data that we created above. So it should have 5 records. Okay, and from here also I am just removing this code and removing this where clause also. So only 5 opportunities should be there. Okay, 5 contacts should be created and 5 opportunities should be created. So now you can see the length of these 2 test methods. So if you use @test setup, so we can reuse the data, whatever data we are creating here, we can reuse, we can query based on that, and then in individual methods we don't need to create the data. So this approach is also recommended in projects, like we can use this method, we can create the data commonly, and in below test methods, whenever it is needed, we can query and validate the results. Okay, now if I run this particular test class, let's see what happens. So I'm going to running this, and this is also working fine. Okay, both the methods are working, and if I check the code coverage, so it is 100%. Code is also covered 100%, right? So this is how we implemented the test methods, right? So this was the requirement. Dharmesh, there was no session on Monday due to power cut at my place. So today I took this session, and what I did, I implemented this test class for the scenario number 10. So in last challenge, we implemented this scenario with the help of trigger and trigger handler. So today we got to know like how we can implement the test class for this particular scenario. Okay, so this is the test class, and I discussed 2 different approaches. I hope you understood both the approaches. And in this approach also, like here in test setup, you can see I'm using this start test and stop test. Okay, so this is how, if you implement any of the trigger or trigger handler, it is recommended to write the test class, because after writing test class, whenever you are going to deploy your trigger handler to the production, because in real time we do implementation in the sandbox. So whenever you are going to deploy code from sandbox to production, so basically we need to have the test class. It should have more than 75% code coverage. So I hope you guys understood. So you can take screenshot of the challenge and the codes that we are discussing. You can post them on the LinkedIn, okay, so that more and more folks will be aware, because LinkedIn, most of the professionals are there. So if anybody wants to follow this series, they want to upskill themselves, so they can just watch this particular series and they can upskill themselves. So I would highly recommend, like, if you can take the screenshot and take the screenshot of this beginning slide, so that people can recognize like what series we are like you guys are learning, and you are recommending them. So just take the screenshot, and these are the scenarios. You can take screenshots of them, the code that we implemented. So do share, and also paste the link of the YouTube stream, so that people can directly come here and follow the sessions. Okay. Yeah, Dharmesh, we are planning for Data Cloud and Agentforce course. So soon we are going to start that. So Nagahari, you are asking, I have one query related test class. One test class lower environment cover 90%. Same test class will be shown 70. It shows different code coverage and reason. Maybe due to some different functionality it happens. Like few functionalities are different. If in both the environment functionality is same, then generally this doesn't happen. Okay, so for that you just need to check the functionality, those are available in the environment. Okay, so I think you guys understood the requirement that we discussed today, and we will be having another session next week that will be challenge number 12. So I will be picking another trigger scenario. So this time what I will do, I will implement both trigger and test classes together so that you can relate and understand that. Okay, so this is it for today. And tomorrow I have another session which is dev breakdown. So I will be having one more industry expert. He is an architect in the industry, so he will be talking about the new feature, like through flows we can configure the approval process, so that we are going to discuss tomorrow. And tomorrow's session will be like 1 hour earlier. It will be between 7 to 8 instead of 8 to 9. So I already scheduled that. So do join that, and you can get benefit out of that. Okay, so Nagari, for this, I think you can ping me on LinkedIn. We can have a discussion offline. Okay, thank you so much, guys, for joining today's session live, and those who are watching recording. So thanks to them as well. And do follow Skill Horizon on Instagram and Telegram so that you can have all the latest updates. Okay, thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.